Welcome to our Portuguese Table podcast. I'm Maria Lawton, the Azorean Green Bean.
And I'm Angela Simoes, and we're just two chicks dishing about Portuguese food, culture, and what it means to be Portuguese.
So grab a glass of vinho or copo de café and join us as we talk about our favorite foods, reminisce about growing up Portuguese,
and interview some of our community's most successful chefs and food writers.
So sit down at our Portuguese table.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of our Portuguese Table podcast. How are you doing, Maria?
Hey, I'm doing fine. I'm really excited about today's show.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. I can't even tell you. So today we have Peter Perreira from Nuts and More. Hi, Peter.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Peter.
So Peter is co-founder and CEO of Nuts and More. And for those of you that are avid Shark Tank watchers like I am, you may have seen Peter. He and his other co-founders were on the tank and they got a deal, and oh my God, I can't wait to hear all about it. I'm so excited. You're the first Shark Tank, like, what do you call them? Not contestant, like Shark Tank feature company that I've ever met.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you happen to be Portuguese, which is amazing. Hello. Yes.
Yep.
So that's how, so I'll just tell our listeners, that's how we found you. I'm sitting here watching Shark Tank and all of a sudden the names go across the TV and I went, oh, that guy's Portuguese. And so of course I think the email I sent you was, okay, hi Peter, I saw your name and you have to be Portuguese, right? And
that's a good pickup line, you know.
So we have so many questions for you, Peter. I don't even know if we should start, like, how did you get on Shark Tank, or like
just everything. We want to know everything.
The day you were born, it all started. No.
Now, are you first generation, second? Were you born there? Tell us everything, honey.
Sure. So, yeah, I am. I'm first generation Portuguese. My parents are from the Azores. They're both they're both from São Miguel, from Punta Delgada.
Yay!
They immigrated here to the U.S., to Rhode Island, Providence, Rhode Island specifically, in early 70s. And they've been here ever since.
For some reason or another, I thought you were out in California because I live in Massachusetts. And when
you guys are neighbors.
We're neighbors.
Yeah.
What part?
Well, I grew up, how can I say it? I was born in São Miguel, and I came over when I was 6. In the 60s. I'm not going to put my age out there, but I'm an old lady. And so we've lived in southeastern Mass for almost 50 years now. And I'm always in Rhode Island. My husband's family is all from Rhode Island, so I'm always in Rhode Island. We could have done a podcast differently. I could have been right there with you, Peter.
I know.
You could have came up, visited the facility. We could have did this live. Yeah.
Wow.
Next time. We'll do another one. And that one will include video.
Yeah.
Yes. I like
awesome.
that.
Next time, the follow-up. I'll have to do like a yearly checkup, you know?
I love it.
Yeah. So you grew up in Providence and you were involved in the Portuguese community. You went to Portuguese school. How did you get into, I think in our first conversation, you said your parents had a bakery?
Yeah, so when I was 8 years old, my parents, they bought a bakery. They really had no background in bakery. They're really the definition of a true entrepreneur. They just jumped right in. My mom was an accountant, and my dad had a small cleaning business on the side. And it was. I was 8. My brother was 4. And I mean, what a risk, right? They knew nothing about it, but they saw the vision. They jumped in, and they've been there ever since. It's been like about 30 years. So,
what bakery is that, Peter?
So it's called Silver Star Bakery. It's on the east side in the Fox Point area of Providence.
Okay.
And were they using like family recipes, or how did they?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was already a Portuguese bakery. So a lot of the recipes they just kind of took over, and my My mom's creative. She always loved to bake, and she took a lot of those recipes along with her. So we make the traditional masa svada,
Nice.
the jadas nata.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
I can keep going.
Oh, please do.
So much my dinner time. No, so it really truly is it's a traditional Portuguese bakery. It's located a couple blocks from Brown University. If anybody knows.
Nice.
The
Yeah.
area. Yeah.
Okay. And so did you learn how to bake bread as a result? Like, and you were kind of involved in the baking, or did you?
Yeah, my parents at a very early age, they would dragging me to the bakery at 5:30 in the morning during the summer times. I mean, literally from like 10 years old to my late teens, I was doing everything from helping pack bread as a young kid, and then slowly moved on to working the mixes, making the breads all night long into the morning hours. I learned how to make donuts. I did it all over there.
Nice.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was great. It was fun.
And then, so fast forward, and so how did you kind of get started with your Nuts and More? And like, did this experience kind of help drive that?
Sure. I think that all that work, and I'm not going to sit here and act like, I loved it. My parents dragged me. They dragged me.
I've heard that before. Yeah.
No, but it truly did kind of teach me the true work ethic and what it takes to make things happen, and the sacrifice that made for us. So I ended up going to college. I went to Suffolk University in Boston, studied programming, ended up becoming a web developer, worked for a couple of telecom companies, and that's what I was doing. I was working on websites and graphics. I had an art background as well. So this was just a total happy accident.
Those are the best. Those are absolutely the best.
Yeah, so I was into fitness as well, all through high school and then through college, and I got a little bit more serious with my fitness, with my diet, and I kind of stumbled upon this concoction because of the way I was eating. So I had this strict diet, and I was just kind of paying attention. Being a marketing guy, I kind of was paying attention to the market, and I saw a few items out there that were starting to fortify themselves. The yogurts, right? Mm-hmm. Yogurts are just the Greek yogurts with the protein.
Right.
There's a couple other things, and as just a sheer result of needing more protein in my diet, I just started to add my protein, which had no flavor, into my peanut butter. So I could reach the macros that I needed, the essential fats and the macros. I was watching everything. I was really like on that macro level. I was like really into fitness. So I was speaking to a buddy of mine who's now my partner. He owned a supplement store, and we tried out this formula at the shop, and people liked it and they started to buy it.
That's so crazy.
It's just like ridiculous. So I had another couple buddies of mine out in California and Las Vegas. I shopped them over some jars, and they connected with some supplement stores in the area, and the same thing happened. So I'm like, well, if it works out there and it works here, I think
it's got to work everywhere, right?
Yeah. Yep. So I took to the bakery with the help of my mom, and we came up with a couple recipes. It took a while. It took like 6 months to a year to develop a few recipes with some good flavors. It's tougher than you'd think, throwing all that protein in the peanut butter and actually making it taste good. And from that point, it's when I realized all the work involved in filling these things by hand, and we needed to get some funding. We needed to quickly look for a machine because we were wasting our evenings and our weekends at that bakery, just filling these things by hand. So it was a great problem, but we needed some help quick. So that's when the email to Shark Tank happened.
Wow.
So you applied to them, right?
Exactly. So
okay.
In the interim, I was looking for loans, and I just happened to on the laptop one day in front of my TV, I saw the show, and I had only seen the show a couple times. I had heard about it, and I sat and I watched, and that was really the first time I actually saw Mark Cuban and the whole panel, and I really paid attention. And I was like, wow, imagine if I ever got on this show.
Yeah.
Imagine.
Isn't that something? That's awesome. Oh my God.
So before the show even ended, I had an email already sent out to the producers, and that was it. It was out in the abyss, and I had forgot about it. about, I'd say 6. I didn't even tell my partners. I completely forgot. I didn't even tell anyone. I just sent it out. So about 6 months later, maybe 6 to 8 months later, I got a response from one of the producers. They got back to me. It took a while. I never checked my voicemail. So they're like, dude, what are you doing? Don't you want to get on the show? And I'm like, are you serious?
Oh. Wow.
Yeah, very serious. Like, we got your email. We saw what you're doing. You got this like pumped up, peanut butter, this cool peanut butter. Like, we kind of like what you're doing. And we wanted to know if you wanted to maybe go through the process, shoot an audition video, and then have a chance of, flying out here and actually pitching to the Sharks. And I'm like, dude, this is crazy. This is like, I remember the moment I was in my driveway and I was like jumping around like a 5-year-old.
Oh, totally.
Then I just called my partners, and then we were all jumping around like 5-year-olds. It's great.
Yeah.
I just went online just to see your mom and dad's bakery. It is on Facebook. They have a Facebook page. So I'm like, we'll make sure we include that
Yes.
in our podcast notes.
Sure.
Because that is definitely something for all of us around in Southeastern Mass and in Rhode Island, and also do your parents ship things out to people in different states?
They don't yet.
They don't yet. Okay, we'll need to work on that because there's people out in the Midwest area of Portuguese that are dying for Portuguese stuff. So I can see all the stuff that they make. It looks great. It really does. They even make their homemade boulevets.
They do.
Oh
Nice.
my God, that looks awesome. That looks so good. So good.
So Peter, so you make this audition tape and then you go on the show, and like, I can't even imagine how surreal that must be. So like, what's that whole experience like?
Yeah, so it was surreal. So basically you make the audition video, you go back and forth a few times. There's production teams that kind of, essentially they're just kind of competing with each other because each production team wants to have a successful entrepreneur get the deal.
Oh, okay.
They're really like working with us and the numbers to make everything work. And then, they're always like, hey, maybe that evaluation is a little too high, or you should think about this because, Kevin O'Leary likes this, or, Barbara Corcoran likes this. So you're really tweaking this whole thing for 6 months up until the time you arrive in LA for the day of the pitch. So
great.
Once you arrive in LA, you're there for about a week, and you get put in a hotel with all the other potential Shark Tank companies, everybody that's pitching. It's got this feel of like everybody's studying for the SATs.
That's kind of a cool vibe. It's like everybody's
That
excited
is.
and nervous, and
Everybody's nervous,
excited.
You're meeting a lot of people, but everything is supposed to be hush hush, and so there's this air of nerves across.
Yeah.
So the first day out, it's actually the first day you're there, you actually have to pitch. And I actually found this even more nerve-wracking than the tank. You actually have to pitch to all the ABC executives. So you got to do a test run, because if you're not TV ready, you're not getting on. So
Interesting.
yeah, because there have been some awkward pitches out there that on the show, right? And it's like you're sitting on the couch and you feel sorry for them. You're cringing for them, right?
Yeah,
Like,
you're right on that.
sorry.
You're right on that.
Yeah, so I could see. So it's kind of nice that you actually got to practice, right? Instead of the first time being out there under the lights, right?
It was good. But the whole time you're there, they're like telling you, like, just remember, you mess up now, you're going home. Every step.
Oh,
of
wow. No
the
pressure.
entire week. So you're
Holy
doing
cow.
these exercises, but after that was like the major hurdle. And then, you got like 4 or 5 days there to really get your numbers down, to really figure out how you're going to attack this thing. And then the day arrives. So, I'm like reliving it right now. I'm getting nervous.
I love it.
So, it was wild. We got up at like 5 a.m. and guess what? We were the last ones to to actually film. And that was at like 10:30, 11 p.m. So the whole
Oh,
God.
wow.
living off like, trailer food. So it's just like we're munching and it was rough. But we get on deck and they tell us, you're in the batter's box. You're up next. You got a few minutes. And yeah, right. Somebody gave us the wrong information. We went right in. So we thought we had a couple more minutes. No, right to the door. Those doors that you see that swing open.
Yeah.
Right before an entrepreneur comes out. Yeah, we got placed right in front of that door. And I'm like, I thought we had another 5 minutes. So we're like, we're like praying. We're like, I don't know what we're doing here. It was like it's like the moment before you're going down a roller coaster, like you're at the top.
Like,
That's a
what
good
the
analogy.
heck am I doing?
Yeah.
What's going on right now? Like, I don't belong here. So the doors fling open. Yeah, everybody asks, hey, how's that? Is that music playing? And the music's not playing. It's just silent. You just kind of walk out to your spot. And the one thing that I tell people that they don't know is you're on that spot. You get placed on the spot, and you're there for about a minute while they're catching shots of you. So you got these cool cameras flying around, and it's super awkward because they're looking at you. And you're like, wow, I've seen you on TV, and you're just staring at me. And like, they're not making pretty faces. They're like, they look mean, and and you're just supposed to be still. And they tell you, okay, go. And then I don't even remember. I don't even remember the rest.
Wow.
You have to watch the episode to remember what happened, right?
Honestly, I couldn't even watch it for a while. I was like, I'd get anxiety.
I believe it.
Yeah. So, but now I'm good. And now it's amazing. We got a great team. I actually work with both investors have business development teams, and I work with them on a daily basis. I send out biweekly reports, and even like this week, Mark responds. So they're very much involved in the business. So it's been wow.
So you got deals with, it was a combined deal with Mark Cuban and Robert Herjavec, right?
Correct. Yes.
Correct. That's awesome. Congratulations. That's so
Congratulations is right. That's awesome.
Thank you so much.
And that was how long ago?
That was 3.5 years ago.
3.5 years ago. Wow.
Now, but what I love also is, again, I'm like trolling now throughout the whole internet here. And besides seeing your mom and dad's place, I'm in Nuts and More page right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I see that just last May, you were on QVC.
Yes.
And you were with Mark, and you sold out 12,000 jars in 6 minutes.
Oh my God.
Can you believe it?
How amazing is that? So, I mean, the success continues. And you have to come from a good grounded place to be able to take that and to run with it. And I'm going to go there and say that DNA of having that Portuguese DNA of our strong worth ethics that we have, and the things of we strive to do it. And if we're going to do it, we're going to do it the best we possibly can. And I really, it just shows. It just shows how much that is in us and how much it leads us to success, and you're showing it to us right in there and there. It's hard work, but it's worth it. That's awesome. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you so much. No, you're so right. It's I think that DNA really is the backbone of this company, and I try to I preach it all the time because that's what I know. It's day in, day out. It's not pretty. It's not pretty. I mean, I know you. Everybody else gets to see the highlights, right? And it's pretty damn awesome. The highlights are pretty awesome, but it's a tough road. We made a lot of mistakes, and just like every other business, we're learning. But it is day in, day out. You stay focused, and you don't lose sight of what that end goal is.
And talking about the work ethic, just as your parents took a risk and opened this bakery and were working round the clock, so did you, right? When you were hand jarring all your butters, and like you said, all your nights and weekends were taken up with it. So it's part of us. It's part of that. You do what you got to do, right?
It sure is. Yeah, I actually, even if you take it a step further back, I was working at that telecom company, and the writing was on the wall. There was some centralization going. I'm in a creative department where everything's done online, everything's done remotely, and there was some positions being routed to Atlanta. So again, this is right before we really took off with Nuts and More. I said, man, I think we got something here. I just left my job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow.
I said, I'm out. This is going to work. I mean, if people on the West Coast are buying it, people on the East Coast are buying it, somebody needs to just really jump in right now head first and lead this thing, because it's not going to lead itself. So I did, and it was the best move I ever made.
What would you say is one of the biggest lessons you've learned throughout this whole process, and when it comes to business?
I would say, know what you know and know what you're good at. And more importantly, know what you don't know.
That's a hard one.
Yeah. and outsource that to the pros, to the people that know what they're doing. I mean, unless you have a lot of runway, you have time, so there's a lot of things that you need to know in business that you should know. Some of the finance stuff, some of the marketing, but for us, Nuts and More just exploded because of ABC and the Shark Tank. There was just no runway. We had to just dip and dive and get professionals, and we built a team pretty quick. And I'm very thankful. My team, without them, there'd be no Nuts and More. They're awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you went from 0 to 100.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you do that, and this is what people don't understand. You make a lot of mistakes when you're going that fast, and you just pray that, some of the mistakes you do don't, really knock you off completely, because it's a market and it's a very competitive one. So
now I'm going to go back into, again, in our DNA and where we come from, especially being first generation. I think you're very close to it. You had parents, and I start with my parents, or even as the generations goes on, it took a lot for them to leave an island, or to leave the continent, or to leave wherever it was, and leave family, leave your home, leave everything that you know, and come to a different country. I don't care where they came from and where they're going, to a land of immigrants, and that's where we are. But in all of them, the whole reason was to do more for themselves and to want more for their children. And we tend to forget that along the way, because some of our parents, sometimes grandparents, that was their biggest ever thing that they've ever done. And then once they get here, they're like, okay, I don't want to chance it anymore.
Yep.
And I want my children to play it safe now, because we're here. So it's, this is it. This is the big thing. But what we can't forget is that we can't sit on our laurels. We have to keep going. Mm-hmm. We have to keep striving, because we're here because of them, whether it was our parents, our grandparents, our great-grandparents. And we carry that with us, as well as I'm hoping our children will carry it forward. And again, it's being proud of who we are and proud of what we do, and that little stubbornness that's in all of us that we kind of need to keep in check. But it's all these wonderful, wonderful things. And I cannot wait to meet you now. I cannot wait to meet you. That is it's just awesome. I mean, you're living the dream.
No, I am.
Yeah.
I
totally.
I know. I feel blessed. I feel blessed every day. I'm like, this is, I'm very inquisitive. I always kind of just like to get into stuff and just see it all the way through. So work wasn't that hard for me, but this is just so much fun. I really can't believe how much fun I'm having.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, like you were just saying, I saw my parents, I guess, struggle. But at that age, you don't even really know it's struggle. But they'd tell me the story. They'd give me the whole, this is all for you. This is all for us, as they worked hard and they worked long hours, and I got dragged to work with them. But I saw that risk. That was really a pivot point in my life, in their lives, because they took that risk, and it could have went down. It could have just we could have packed up and back at grandma's house, but they struggled and they didn't sleep. And I mean, my dad worked every night. There's 7 days a week, but then they were able to provide a life for me and my brother that we hadn't had. And I noticed that. I was able to see that. Even though I was young, I saw the tide turning. I saw things shifting. We moved for different locations. So you saw, and I said, wow, they're successful. And by the time I got to, and I'm just a competitive guy. So by the time I got to high school, I was already kind of freaking out. I'm like, look at my parents. I mean, they didn't know any English, and look at the life they built. And so as a competitive guy, I'm like, it's kind of weird, but I'm like,
how am I going to beat that?
I know it sounds crazy, but I'm like, man, how do I beat that?
Yeah.
So it just pushed me further, grateful, thankful enough to get into college and excel. And I just pushed. I just kept pushing. And I never knew if I didn't know if I was ever going to, meet their goal. Because again, competitive. So you set goals, and I was like, I don't know, maybe I'll never get to where they are. But I think, they're proud. That's the biggest, that's the most important thing. They're proud, and they tell me all the time, and it's awesome.
Oh yeah. So I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the recipes that you have on your site, because again, we'll include your website in the show notes so everybody can go find you and buy your butters. You have a ton of flavors, first of all, to choose from, which is awesome. And then you have all these recipes and like really decadent desserts and chocolate peanut butter pancakes, and holy moly, man, there's so many. So are some of those recipes yours? Did you work with somebody to come up with them? Like, how did you, and can I put in a personal request for a queijada flavor?
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. I told my mom to start working on that one.
Yeah.
A rouge douce spread. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome.
Oh man, awesome. So up until not too long ago, I pretty much developed most of the flavors for the nut butters myself. But then it got to the point where I hired a professional formulator. He's a great guy. I've actually worked with him on other projects for like 15 years. Wonderful guy. So he's worked on the last couple, the cookie butter and
that looks
caramel. Yeah, they're pretty good. The recipes that you see. So the way that works is we have an internal social media guru. She's amazing. She's also a food expert. She's a chef, and she's probably the great part of like the last 2 years, she's been helping me with that. But we've kind of expanded things out a little further. We have an ambassador team that's compiled of all different types of athletes. And believe it or not, they're like some of the best chefs I've ever seen. They come up with the coolest concoctions with our peanut butter. So we put everything together in our recipe section. We put it on Instagram, and we've just been compiling this list of recipes for the last couple of years, and it's kind of morphed into something bigger. So yeah, we're kind of known for the food porn. That's what they call it.
Yes.
So that needs to be turned into a cookbook. You know that, right?
Yes.
All those.
Yes, we're working on that.
But it's funny that you. So peanut butter is not a common food in Portugal. I don't think.
No.
At least like my friends and family that we're in touch with, we put peanut butter on celery once, and they were like, "What is that?" And like, it's delicious, is what it is. You should really try it. And so, do you go to international markets, or is it primarily U.S.? I'm just wondering how. Because I'm just trying to think, like, how would you introduce us to the Portuguese market? And can we I was only partially joking about the queijada flavor, because I think there could be some really delicious flavors, right? But they're
Yeah,
not
you could.
necessarily.
You know, I think in Portugal we have the Biscoff, which is your biscuit butter, Biscoff,
Oh.
whatever.
I've never heard of that. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's made with Maria biscuits.
Oh,
Yeah, Biscoff.
Yeah.
You can find, yeah. And then and of course the big thing that they have out there more than anything is the Nutella. The
oh, right.
Yeah, that's their big, huge thing. But now
Okay.
going to the Azores, when I go back and visit my family, they love their peanut butter. They can get peanut
Really?
butter there. Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely. Because they have the stores there that sell American goods. And you can get Skippy peanut butter. And their favorite is the Teddy one.
The Teddy one.
Teddy one, which has, which when you look at it, it has the oil separate from the butter.
Oh, okay. So it's a natural. Okay, that's
Yes.
good.
Yeah, they love that one the most. Yeah.
Well, we got to get them some nuts and more, and we're working on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've teamed up with a global supplement distributor.
Awesome.
Just recently, the last 6 months, and they've gotten us into a couple of countries in Europe. And I know my cousins out there, they love it. They're always like, "Hey, can you send me a case?" Oh, peanut butter. They like peanut butter. So
Nice. Nice. Oh, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. It's so not, I don't ever see it. I mean, I see it in the stores, but I don't see other people eating it when I go there. Right.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
yeah, it's definitely an American food.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think.
Mhm. And so I will. So there's an American store in Portugal, which just cracks me up. I should say in Lisbon specifically, the one I've seen, which just cracks me up to see the the products that they carry and the fact that it's literally called American Store.
Yes,
And-
it is called the American Store.
and it just like you walk in there and it's kind of like, yeah, I don't buy any of this stuff at home, but yeah, it's American stuff, right?
Yep,
And
that's exactly it.
And I almost feel bad because we're exposing them to not the best food that we have here. I mean, I think just America has a bad rep in general of being all fast food,
Right.
which we are exposing. But
And the other thing is when they do come here and they come for a visit in the United States, and let's say I have to go to the grocery store real quickly, or they'll come with me if they want to come, especially the older ladies, they'll come with me. They just to see, and then they see the prices here, and they're like, "Oh my God, it's so cheap." This is, it's no custa nada. It's like, so now they want to do barrels of, for me to send out barrels of peanut butter and, what is it? Oh, they love cheesecake. They love making cheesecakes. And one of the things that they love is, the pie filling or the pie topping, whatever they love that over their cheesecakes. And And in St. Michael, if you go to the American store and you buy the can of that, of the pie filling or whatever it is, it's like 10 euros. It's
Whoa.
10 euros for one can. Well,
Wow.
Here you buy it, it's what, $2, $1.99 if it's on sale or whatever. So they were like, oh my, I mean, they were like just blown away by how inexpensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll buy
literally
a year's supply.
Yeah, they wanted a barrel. We had to get a barrel to send back to them.
Yep.
So are you sending barrels, Peter?
That's so funny you say that because I remember doing that with my dad, sending the barrels. But yeah, that's actually the biggest problem. It's the getting distribution because of the weight. So
yeah, I imagine. Yeah.
But we're working that out. I haven't sent any barrels yet, but now my cousin's gonna hear and they're gonna be like,
hey, we want that barrel. Let me tell you, I know a guy, Peter. I know a guy. He'll come to you. He'll pick it up and he'll put it at the boat. I've got a guy. Don't worry about it. Hey,
I know a guy. Yep.
So you're looking at shipping internationally. What else is next for you? What's on the horizon?
Well, just more global distribution. Believe it or not, the Middle East has taken to our product.
Okay.
Big time. They're really with it. So we're big in the Middle East. Canada is really big. So we're looking to just kind of the past year, it's been more focused on infrastructure and hiring and getting the right people in place. I think next year we got a few tricks up our sleeve. We got like 3 new products we're gonna introduce, and it should shake things up a little bit.
That's great.
The arroz doce flavor, right? Yeah.
The blush Maria. Blush Maria.
I'm not going to give up on that, Peter. I'm not giving up.
Maybe it's the case or not, you never know.
So we're coming up close to our time. So we have questions that we'd like to ask all of our guests about Portuguese food and their experience with Portuguese food and things like that. So I'm going to throw a few out there to you, if that's all right.
No, absolutely.
All right. So what's your favorite Portuguese dish?
Bacalhau de nata.
Yeah. Yummy.
Oh, yeah.
And what would be the thing that you, like, if you were to say, Mom, I want you to make this, like the best thing that she makes for you?
Interesting.
The very best, like what you crave.
Interesting. It's probably that. It's probably the bacalhau. But you know what? There's nothing like some sardinhas just grilled up. I just had some day. Oh, so good.
Yeah,
nice.
That is so good.
Nice.
Summer and just being with the family. It's just like soul food. It's awesome.
It is soul food. Now, do you have the sardinhas or do you have the chichares?
Oh, the chichares too. Yeah.
Com molho de vilão?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All of the above. I don't know if you know this about me, but I'm a professional eater. So we can keep going.
Now, is there any?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
We were probably going to ask the same question. Is there anything you won't eat? Any Portuguese food you won't eat?
No, not really. Oh, I love pulvo too. The way my grandmother makes it. I don't even know what it's called, but it's pulvo.
Which is octopus.
Octopus, yeah.
Yeah. Octopus. She has it like, I don't know, in the dish. I don't cook, so I'm not sure. There's a bunch of people that make it, but the way she makes it is amazing. I'm very adventurous.
So tripas, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Pig's feet, chicken legs, like everything?
Yeah, I've been heading the opposite direction. I've been kind of going light on the meat these days. But, you know, if it's there and I'm in the mood,
you'll eat it.
Now, how often do you go back to St. Michael, hon?
I was actually there the August, 2 Augusts ago. I'm like every 5-year kind of guy. And then I actually went to the mainland. I was in Algarve for the first time too. That was pretty cool.
Nice.
2 years ago. Yeah.
I was saying the last time I went to St. Michael, I tried something I had never tried before, and that was barnacles.
Really?
And they call it's caracas, and it's along with the periwinkles that are up against the stones. There are these almost like pointy growths that come out. I can't. But they're barnacles, and they come to your plate, and you're looking at it going, oh my God, I have a piece of rocks on top of my plate, and they give you a little hook that you go through. There's like little holes in those rocks, and out comes like these little pieces of meat, and it tastes just like lobster.
Really?
Yes. So if you go back,
so it doesn't taste like caracóis?
No. Nope.
Because I will not eat caracóis. I tried them. Yeah. It's a texture thing. I can't do it.
Yeah. Nope. This is like little pieces of like lobster.
Wow.
It is like the most delicious thing. I'm like, really? Do I have to try it? And they're like, you got to try it. Tu tens que experimentar. Prova. So I'm like, okay, all right. So I did one, and I'm like, oh my God, this is so good. And of course, não diz. Everyone is like, didn't we tell you? Yeah, whatever. So, but Caracas, which is Caracas, yeah.
I gotta.
like crackers, but you got to say it with a Portuguese accent.
You got it, crackers. Yes.
Go home with my mother and be like, you've had that before. Come on. Okay.
So you'll have that.
And so this is a Maria question. What's your first food memory?
That is my question.
That
Just taking
is
my question. Yeah, your first food memory. That's important.
My first food memory. God, that's a good one. But I mean, I think it's all kind of wrapped in together with the sardinha xixax. It really, like, when I think of food, it's Portuguese food. It's those parties, those moments that I had when I was a kid, when my whole family was over, whether it was just kind of hanging out in the summer or just a birthday party, whatever, with those travessas. It's just like where are we going? It's like Thanksgiving. People didn't understand. It's like Thanksgiving every weekend.
That's right. Isn't that the truth? Isn't that the truth? You're absolutely right. Everyone has it once a year. In regular American families, we have it every weekend. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. So really, that's probably, those memories are my first food memories.
It's funny. Whenever I have the Portuguese female gene of always cooking way too much food than is needed. And
because you never know.
Honestly, I wear that like a badge of honor, man, because you know what? I would rather somebody go home with leftovers from my house than leave my house going, what does she think, we're on a diet?
Exactly.
So people can give me a hard time every time about cooking too much food. I don't care.
I'm right there with you.
It's part of who we are, and it's part of just that you eat so much and then you're so full, and then you oh, that was so good, and then you just lay around and you play cards, and it's part of the whole thing, Yeah,
absolutely. This has just been great.
It's so good to get to know you, Peter, and this certainly is not the last time that you're going to hear from us. And Maria's going to make a date with you guys to go hang out. And then if you're ever in California, you absolutely have to let me know so we can hang out and I can show you the very few Portuguese restaurants that we have out here. But yeah, we just wish you so much continued success, and we're so proud of you. I will always watch your episode, and we'll put a link to it. We'll put a link to the episode in the show notes so that people can watch it. And just, you're awesome. I mean, it's awesome. We were so glad to see one of our own on that show.
Absolutely.
And do so well.
Absolutely. And the whole feeling, and I know Angela feels the same way, hence the reason why we do this podcast, is that, when one of us succeeds, we all succeed.
We all succeed. Yep.
Absolutely. And I truly, and I know Angela feels the same way. We both feel exactly the same way. And that is, we're very proud of who we are as Portuguese, but we're also so proud of the success stories that are in the Portuguese community that we don't hear enough about. And you're one of them. And that is, I mean, beyond proud. Beyond.
Yep. As Derek DeMello from the Portuguese Kids says, Português ajuda dois a três. And he heard that from an old man, but
that's right.
We heard it from him, and it's so true. It's so true.
That's
so
right.
If we can ever, do you know him?
Yeah, we've met. Yeah, I've actually been at their office. They're right by me. So yeah, they're great
how funny.
guys. Yep.
I was at their office yesterday.
You were? See?
I was.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Well, thank you so much, Peter, for taking the time. Again can't express how incredibly proud we are of you. And I've placed my order for some Nuts and More butters. I can't wait to try them. And I'm waiting for the arroz doce flavor.
I'm on it. And I just want to thank you guys so much. I'm truly honored that you guys even reached out to me and allow me to do this, and to just give me a moment to just kind of highlight me, the story, my business. I'm truly honored and blessed, and thank you so much. And this is definitely not going to be the last time that we talk. So
absolutely not.
Thank you again.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Peter.
All
Bye,
right.
Peter.
All right. We'll talk to you soon.
Ciao. Bye.
Bye. So is he like super cool or what? I love that guy.
That was awesome. I mean, he's the real deal. The real deal of what we want. What we want. This is it. He is the American dream. He is absolutely the American dream.
I have to tell you, when I saw him on TV, I literally jumped off the couch and was like, oh my God, that guy's Portuguese. And it was, I think the novelty or the impact of seeing one of your own on mainstream TV is still there. Like, it's not like, oh yeah, another Portuguese guy on TV. It's like, no, there's a Portuguese guy on TV.
It's a big deal. It is a big deal. Absolutely.
And he gets to work with Mark Cuban and Robert Herjavec. Like, holy crap, man.
What I didn't ask, we didn't go into further detail because he got the two, that are, come across as being the nicer and all of that stuff versus, Mr. O'Leary. I didn't even go down there and like, is he really that much of a douchebag that he comes across? But I didn't want to, because he would probably be very nice about it and say, oh no, he's a sweet man, whatever. But he really comes across as being a hard person to work with. But maybe he's a softie. Maybe that's just a hard shell exterior of a man,
Yeah.
It could be.
Yeah.
But he did get two great ones. And I do like to watch the Shark Tank. I like to go in there. So to know that you're coming out, there's no music. It's all like, and the way that things are, though, like you're there from early in the morning, you don't get on till late at night. You're, it's the whole different way of looking at it now. It's great. I'm so glad he was able to share that with us. So Maria, why don't you go on the Shark Tank for your show? For my Portuguese cooking show?
Cooking show, yeah.
I don't know. What kind of percentage would they want? There's no percentage to give. I could give,
That's true.
I could cook them meals, I could, whoever gives me money, I'm going to, cook them so many meals.
Well, who knows? Yeah. Maybe they would say, forget PBS and we're going to take you to the Food Network.
Well, heck, if from your lips to God's ears, if there's somebody out there who knows someone from the Food Network, let us know. That would be awesome. Because now I'm still looking for sponsors, and that has been the hardest thing. But
it always is. Looking for money, asking for money is always, whether you're a business, a nonprofit, whatever, selling Girl Scout cookies door to door. It's always the hardest thing, but you're going to do it. I know you're going to do it because we need your show. We need it. Our
we
community
need
needs
a
it.
Portuguese cooking show. Gosh darn it.
We do.
We absolutely
totally do.
It'll happen.
Well, in the show notes, we will put a link to where people can donate. For sure. And we'll make it happen. But yeah, no, I'm so glad we got Peter on the show. What an inspiration. Like I'm gonna go submit my name to Shark Tank.
You should talk about someone who comes up with ideas. It's you.
I know. Just got a million. Just got to make one of them work.
But you know what? It's the same thing. And for them, they would be the investors.
Yeah. So we'll see. Maybe you'll be interviewing me as a Shark Tank.
Yes! Oh my God. Again, I'm going to say it from your lips to God's ears. That would be amazing. Awesome. Imagine. Oh my God. That would be great. Okay, everybody out there. Let's all think positive thoughts here. Let's all think positive.
And thanks again for listening, everybody. We hope you enjoyed the conversation.
Thank you.
And if you haven't subscribed, I don't know what you're waiting for. Just subscribe to the podcast already on SoundCloud or iTunes. Share it with your friends and family. Please leave us a review on iTunes so that actually helps our ratings and helps people discover the podcast on iTunes a lot better. So please leave us a review. And if you have questions, suggestions, you need a recipe, anything, send us a message on Facebook or send us an email.
And also thank you to those that are listening. I mean, it's wonderful to see that over 4,000 people have come on and listened to it that often, which is wonderful. And people who have signed up to be followers of us on iTunes and SoundCloud, which is great. Yep. So we thank you. We really appreciate it.
Yeah. All right, Maria.
All right, honey.
Have a great weekend.
All right, you too. Até a próxima,
Thank you.
querida.
Até a próxima.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks again for listening to our Portuguese Table podcast.
If you haven't subscribed yet, you can do so on SoundCloud or iTunes.
And all episodes can be found on our website at www.ourportuguesetable.com.
You can also reach us at feedback@ourportuguesetable.com with comments, questions, or suggestions. Até a próxima!